Pharma Lab training video 1? Just interesting use of projectile blood. A lot of blood, but like comically so. What'd you guys think of this?
That was funny.
Who feels bad for Pete? Yeah, I feel bad for Pete. Okay, but what was happening? Because that's a twist ending if there's ever a twist ending. What do you think that ending was with the Russians in the back of the head with the hamsters? What was going on there?
Everything else was brilliant until they got to the Russians.
It definitely had that sense of like, it was a dream, or like, you know, one of those kind of endings. That being said though, I like what you said about the beginning. Everything up until that point, like, you were being, did anyone else get like that 1980s training video that you all sat through at your first job? I loved that part. I thought it was a brilliant spoof, and I loved how they cut in all these like pharma things. Did anybody notice the Pete running out in the very first scene and someone catching him?
It was quite brilliant actually, and the last bit could have been, because the entire thing was comedic and all, but then you know how in the beginning they're talking about we're sponsored by these big companies, it's run by the US government, and then you've got a Russian guy feeding a hamster into that entire brain. So it could be the whole commentary, once again, a spoof on or take on, you know, that entire political, a satiric look at that entire fight rather. So yeah, I thought it was really well done actually.
Aren't you forgetting something? Before you administer the painkiller, you must administer a pain stimulus, of course.
There feels like 2 layers to the whole thing. There's the VR headset that someone puts on and then watches the training video. And then, which was an interesting choice to have them wearing a VR headset and then have a 4:3 aspect ratio 1980s video be what is essentially playing through the VR. And when the trainee takes it off, she's subject to the installation of the mind control chip. And my read on it was that the guy with the hamster brain is like a malfunctioning robot that's to administer the VR chip. So now they're sending him back to Russia for repairs to send him back out to install the chips in the next generation of would-be, what did they call them in the unpaid interns or something like that? Yeah, so their control bot is malfunctioning.
Fascinating. I actually thought I had a completely different take on the VR headset. I thought they were doing the VR headset so the interns couldn't see each other. So when they take off the headset, they go, oh, that's the runner, quick, implant them. But that's just one person's take. This is a film that is open to everyone's subjective opinion.